Good afternoon, I'm Jamie Shaw with all your latest news from Staffs Live. The headlines at 3. The inquest into the deaths of 4 children in a house fire has begun in Burton. As Brexit looms closer, how is it going to affect farmers' trade? And Potters fans pay tribute to the great Gordon Banks. The inquest into the deaths of 4 children in a house fire in Stafford has begun today in Burton. Our reporter Louise Hill has more.
I'm here at Burton Town Hall today where the inquest into the 4 deaths of the children that died in the Staffordshire house fire are being investigated. The 4 children were recently identified as 8-year-old Riley Holt, 6-year-old Keegan Unit, 4-year-old Tilly Unit and 3-year-old Ollie Unit. Opening the inquest into the deaths, the South Staffordshire Assistant Coroner Margaret Jones said that the cause of death was yet to be ascertained. The house fire in Sycamore Lane Highfields in Stafford started in the early hours of Tuesday morning, and a 28-year-old man, a 24-year-old woman and a 2-year-old child were able to escape the flames. The inquest has been postponed until the 11th of July when investigations can be completed. Louise Hill, Staffs Live.
From next month, tenants will be able to sue their landlords if they don't fix damp or mould issues. We've been speaking to Shelton residents.
We've had mould for a while now. We've spoken to the landlord twice about it. First time they said, can you remove it yourself, see what it can do. We attempted to get rid of it, came back after a while. And after the second time, we reported it with some paint falling off in the bathroom. They instantly came and sorted out the paint, but then the mould was still there. They never even looked or touched at that. And it just keeps coming back worse and worse. A lot of students like myself might not have the time nor money to pursue actual legal actions, because I certainly couldn't. But I do think if threats were put into place, landlords will now take it more seriously.
I think that the new legislation can only be a good thing, as mould is a common problem across all housing in Stoke, not just student housing. What happened with me, this happened literally in the last week, so I noticed the mould in the back of my house, and it's due to a gutter being broken, so all the rainwater is going through the wall, penetrating the wall. So I rang my landlord and I said, hey, I think that I've got some mould, and she sent a man round with it, a builder round within a week, and he sorted it out now, so it's all fixed now. She actually thanked me for coming forward and saying, thanks for letting me know, because otherwise this would have cost me a lot of money.
When I moved in, we were in the room right at the front of the house, and where the wall is, we've got like drafts coming through 24/7. The corner, especially when we moved in, up this corner, just mould straight up the walls, all over the window frames. It's just been an absolute nightmare with it. I think when there's something at stake, the landlords will finally get to work on it and actually go about fixing it.
With just 42 days to go until Brexit, we've been talking to local farmers about their hopes and fears. Here's our Brexit correspondent, Joe Williams.
Farming has been an integral part of Britain's economy and landscape for centuries, and for this family-run farm in Staffordshire, that sense of pride in their heritage isn't looking to be tarnished as the UK looks to greener pastures with Brexit looming.
I'm Mark Fallows. I'm 53 years of age. I help out on the farm.
And Ian Fallows, and I'm 50 years old. I am a farm worker.
The trouble is, like all industries, there's so much bureaucracy with being in Europe. I'm not saying there's not going to be bureaucracy if we come out of Europe, but my understanding is when I've spoken to people that have had dealings with the French farmers, and what they've said is that the British are foolish.
We can only carry on our business as we're running out. You see, within agriculture, you can't just turn the tap off and say, right, we won't milk those cows now, we're finished. That has to be planned. It takes 6 months to shut down, if we're lucky, you know. So preparing for the future, you can only hope that it's going to benefit us. If it doesn't, then we should probably go out of business.
Running since 1922, operations at Easford Farm has to stay on the straight and narrow even with the looming clouds of Brexit. In a modern day climate, it can't just be a place to produce milk, it has to be a business too.
Hello, Full Fuels.
With over 2,000 permanent customers across the nation, many would be forgiven for thinking this farm in the heart of the UK will be just fine come the 29th of March. But there is still a heavy reliance on the government's provision of subsidies. Controversially, these subsidies are supplied on the amount of land owned, not amount produced. And with these subsidies looking to be relinquished in the future, the Fallows family are worried.
We're quite dependent on them. Also, a subsidy is there so that we can produce the food as cheap as we can to allow the consumers to buy the product cheaper. If they take the subsidies off, obviously the price of our products would have to go up. I don't think we'd be in business without them.
If we were all on a level playing field, the subsidies wouldn't matter, because there's so many subsidies going to the wrong areas. Because I believe that subsidies should go to the food production, not to the landowners. For example, like National Trust, as do not produce any food but just own land.
The government has pledged to extend these subsidies up until 2021. Farmers such as these at Easford Farm will then have to find alternative means of survival in a post-Brexit environment. Joe Williams, Staffs Live.
In the early hours of this morning, an empty Stoke-on-Trent house was found engulfed in flames. Fire crews attended the scene and luckily nobody was hurt.
A house was seen ablaze on Crossley Road in Stanfield this morning. The Staffordshire Fire and Rescue Service were called to the scene at 7:26 a.m. and said that the property was uninhabited. We apologise for the sound quality of this footage.
We've had a severe first floor fire on Crossley Road this morning. We've turned up and extinguished that fire. At this time, we don't know how it's been caused. We're investigating that along with the colleagues from the police. We're treating it as suspicious at this time until the investigation shows otherwise.
For more updates on this story, visit staffslive.co.uk.
Rail commuters are facing long delays and cancellations throughout today after a lorry crashed into a bridge between Stoke and Crewe. Our reporter Ben Waring has more.
Railway services between Crewe and Staffordshire are expected to be subject to delays today after a vehicle collided with a railway bridge just north of Staffordshire yesterday afternoon. The vehicle in question is yet to be detailed, but the collision is expected to be a problem for commuters of Cross Country, Virgin Trains London, North Western Railway and East Midlands trains. Spokesman for National Rail has explained that some lines may be blocked and trains will run at a reduced speed, which will ultimately result in delays of up to 30 minutes or could even be cancelled.
But what do the people of Stoke-on-Trent think about the train delays?
If I need to be there for a certain time, I expect it to be on time and ready for me to get on and go back to where I need to be. But if it's not there, it can cause a major disruption for anything.
It's frustrating really because the train's about the hour, so I'm usually here about 40 minutes before I'm supposed to be.
They also say that there is no estimate to when normal services will resume, so make sure to keep an eye out for changes to services if you're travelling by train today. Benjamin Waring, Staffs Live.
Libraries house thousands of books that the public can read and enjoy. For Library Lovers Month, one Hanley librarian has been telling us about the other services they provide.
Apart from our children, so we've got our sort of craft activities and storytime activities, we've then got sort of code clubs which are available for perhaps that 9 to 13 age group. So they're learning how to code computer games and animations using Scratch. Our adult or sort of older generation that pop in and use our shared reading groups, our audio books, the sort of the normal book stock. So we've also got the internet use, but we also offer some shared reading groups. And in fact, it doesn't sort of stop there. We've then got our evening events. So we run poetry events, author events. We're starting to look at a possible open mic night event. So we're sort of growing the kind of events that we offer to everybody. Like I say, children, adults, and older generation as well.
Now, in the run-up to half-term, it is important to keep your kids happy. Our reporter Adam Beach has the lowdown on half-term activities in Staffordshire.
The half term can be a busy time, especially if you're a parent, so making sure you have plans to keep your children entertained is important. Don't be worried if you've not got a clue where to take your children this half term, because we've got you covered. From Monday to Sunday, Alton Towers will be given a makeover featuring pirates and princesses, so get the kids down there for a swashbuckling adventure. If you're looking to burn a few calories with your children, why not visit the Regent Theatre? During the half term week, there will be opportunities for you and your children to get on stage and participate in a range of different dance styles. If you'd rather release your inner geek, head to the Life Science Experiment at the Lichfield Garrick on Friday 22nd of February and have your mind blown by crazy science experiments and much more. So you definitely shouldn't be stuck for ideas. Back to Jamie.
Now over to Ethan with all your sports.
It's been an emotional week with the passing of Stoke City legend Gordon Banks. Here's football reporter Matty Roper with reaction from social media.
Since the passing of Gordon Banks early this week, social media has been flooded with tributes for the legendary World Cup winning goalkeeper who died aged 81. A major part of Stoke City's 1972 League Cup triumph, he was widely regarded as one of the best goalkeepers of all time, being named FIFA Goalkeeper of the Year on 6 occasions throughout his glistening career. Also an honorary doctorate at Staffordshire University, Banks was well respected in Stoke and across the rest of the world, not only for his achievements on the pitch, but also for his humble nature off it. Banks will be best remembered for one iconic save during the 1970 World Cup, when he remarkably kept a Pelé header out, and the former Brazil star has also paid tribute amongst thousands of others. All of the clubs in the Football League and the Premier League will now pay their respects to a true gentleman this weekend, with a minute's applause scheduled at all of the fixtures around the country. Rest in peace, Gordon Banks.
Since the passing of Gordon Banks earlier in the week, residents of Stoke have paid tribute to the legend at the Bet365 Stadium. Jerry Malakabu has more.
Monday saw the tragic death of World Cup winner Gordon Banks, and many, including former winger Liam Lawrence, came to pay their respects.
Seeing the videos growing up as a kid of certain saves and things that he did in the game, I was lucky enough to meet him a couple of times as well. So, he was a gentleman, really nice guy, and as I said, the word legend's thrown about, but he is a true legend. Well, it's either the Pelé save, in the World Cup, or the penalty save in the Cup for Stoke. I think they're both iconic moments, so they'll live long in the memory.
On the week of the passing of a Stoke City legend, Nathan Jones hailed Stoke City's midweek clean sheet as a tribute to the goalkeeper.
They reacted very well, and look, it's fitting that we kept our clean sheet and Jack, kept a clean sheet. It's fitting in a week that we mourn, the passing of a legend, a Stoke legend, an English legend, that he kept his first clean sheet. Just kind of fitting, really. But as I said, it's been a tough week. It's been a tough week for the football club in terms of what we've had to, go through, but also, the result on the weekend. But that sort of is a step in the right direction.
As a Stoke fan, I remember signing him, and we were all overjoyed that we'd signed the world's greatest goalkeeper. At the time, it was a world record transfer fee. People have forgotten that. And he just lifted the whole club, and his personality is a perfect gentleman. And the thing I remember about him is his smile when we won the League Cup semi-final at Old Trafford in '72. He turned to where most of the Stoke fans were, and there's a picture of him with a fantastic big smile, like a Cheshire cat almost. And that's what I shall always remember, more so than anything else. But he was a man of the people, a man of the community, and I don't think we'll see the likes of him and the others in the '66 World Cup again, because it's a different era completely.
An inspiration to all, Banks will forever be remembered for his contribution both on and off the field. Jerry Malikabu, Staffs Live.
Meanwhile, local rivals Port Vale host Morecambe this weekend in what is a crucial fixture in Sky Bet League 2. After last weekend's defeat to Cambridge United, John Askey wants his side to play with more freedom.
Yeah, throughout the team, people have got to take responsibility, and we want somebody to take the game by the scruff of the neck and show what they can do. Whether it's Tom, whether it's somebody else, we're not bothered as long as we win the game. I think it's important that we do well at home in front of our home supporters, and make this a hard place for people to come.
Stoke-born Dan Robson made his first England appearance in their record-breaking win against France in the Six Nations. We sent Staffs Live reporter Philip Shirley down to Longton, home of his former club.
Stoke-born scrum half Dan Robson made his long-awaited England debut last weekend in the Six Nations, as they continued their 100% record in the competition after beating France 44-8 in their biggest win against the old rivals since 1911. Robson spent his first season of men's rugby at Longton Rugby Club, and coach George Glenn, who played with Dan during his time at the club, hopes that he will inspire a new generation of rugby players from the north of Staffordshire.
Yeah, hopefully. And it's really important in any sport that children have got kind of role models who they feel close to, whether that be from a local area or through a relation or something like that. So really hopeful that he can inspire a kind of new generation of players in what's quite a kind of football heavy area. It's really nice to have a role model from the game of rugby, and hopefully that will kind of increase the numbers at local clubs, and hopefully we may see a few more people from North Staffordshire getting up to the higher levels as well.
That's all for the sport. Back to you, Jamie.